Okay, so hi everyone. Welcome to today's webinar entitled Better Tools, Better Results, Portfolio Simulations for Higher Education, hosted by Stock-Trak. I'd like to start with a brief introduction into Stock-Trak and who we are and what we do. So at Stock-Trak, we're the leading provider of financial education applications, virtual trading, and personal finance games. We were founded 34 years ago in 1990 as a stock, options, and futures simulation for university investment classes. Since then, we've grown significantly, expanding our offerings to include a personal finance section, an interactive budget game, and over 300 different customizable lessons that can be tailored to each individual class's needs. So at Stock-Trak, we're a family of websites. We have Stock-Trak.com, which is our premier product, which serves colleges, universities, and corporate clients. We have PersonalFinanceLab.com, which is our high school product that serves the K-12 level. And then we have HowTheMarketWorks.com and WallStreetSurvivor.com, which are free platforms that are used normally in high schools and by individual investors and anyone who wants to improve their financial literacy and investment skills. So each year we serve over 1,200 finance professors, 15,000 high school teachers, 700,000 students, and over 100 corporate clients with our simulations. Who am I? My name is Connor Nicholson. I'm part of the business development team here at Stock-Trak, and I help professors in integrating Stock-Trak into their courses, helping them enhance their student engagement. So the theme of today's webinar is going to be the differences between how the market works and Stock-Trak. So some of you might already be using Stock-Trak. Some of you might only be using how the market works. So today I'd like to highlight some of the differences between the two platforms. So How the Market Works is a free site that's been designed primarily for K-12 students and sponsored by the brokerage industry. It is ad supported and not necessarily tailored for advanced student needs or higher education. Stock-Trak is ad-free and provides a highly polished and professional user experience specifically tailored to meet the needs of advanced students and professors. Professor resources. So How the Market Works treats all educators, teachers, and professors the same, offering limited resources. How the Market Works has the Teacher's Guide, which is centered for high school personal finance classes. On Stock-Trak, professors benefit from a dedicated Professor Resources Center and superior Professor Dashboard. This provides much easier site navigation and management, as well as a smoother experience for setting up and managing your sessions. So let's actually get in here and take a look at the two platforms. So as you can see here, this is how the market works. I've created a free teacher's account, and this is going to be your teacher's dashboard. So as you can see, there are quite a lot of ads surrounding it. At the top, we have my teacher tools where I can create a contest and view my lesson plans. Underneath that, I have my portfolio, my trading, some of my contest information, my research tools, and then trading ideas at the bottom. And here is the How the Market Works Teacher's Guide that I mentioned. So there's 9 different widgets here going into detail about how to create a class, webinars and best practices, and then reading and assignments. Let's move over to Stock-Trak. So this is our Stock-Trak platform. This would be your professor or admin dashboard. So as you can see, there's no ads here. It's a much cleaner look and feel. And I'll just go top down. So first we have our admin message. This is a short message that you can write that will populate the right top-hand corner of all your student screens. So such as this week, we're focusing on chapter 5. On the right-hand corner here, you can upload your school's logo for a bit of customization. And you can even upload documents. So some professors like to upload trading guidelines, investment guidelines, and host it right on Stock-Trak so that their students always have a reference point about, okay, what am I supposed to be doing? How am I supposed to be building out my portfolio? Then we have a breakdown and a preview of the user rankings for their investing portfolios. So if I just click right here, I can take a look into all of my students' portfolios, all of their open positions, all of their previous transactions, detailed balances of their account, their realized profit and loss on any closed trade, and their trade notes, which is essentially a trading or investing journal. So you can prompt your students to write a little note every time they buy or sell, explaining their rationale behind their investment strategy. And that way, at the end of the term, they can download a spreadsheet of all of their trades, and there'll be a column explaining the reason they bought and sold. So it's really helpful. Beneath that, we have the top traded securities collectively in everyone's account. So what is everyone investing in? And then we have the assignment progress. So if I click right here, I can view all my students' lesson plans, how many times they've attempted to go through each lesson, their overall progress, their time it's taken them, and their overall grade percentage. Stock-Trak also has this admin resources, Professor Resource Center, which will explain how to set up your class, how to manage your class and view reports, how to create and manage assignments. We have some blog posts about what's new at our company. And what's really interesting at the bottom of the page is we have use cases by subject. So we've actually had professors who've integrated Stock-Trak into their courses, write out exactly how they're using it in the different contexts. So whether you teach investments, portfolio management, personal finance, economics, or another finance class, you could probably find a case here which would give you an idea of how you might want to use it in your class as well. Next, we have customization options. So HowTheMarketWorks offers only basic session setup options, such as selecting cash balances and limited asset types for trading. I'll just click here, and this is pretty much all you can set up on HowTheMarketWorks. So you can choose your currency, your initial cash balance. There's 4 security type options, 4 order type options, and then 4 administration options. Stock-Trak, on the other hand, provides advanced customization features and is designed to support both individual classes and department-wide use. So you can create tailored sessions that align seamlessly with course objectives, whether you teach personal finance, investments, derivatives, portfolio management, or another finance class. You can also access an extensive library of resources, including over 300 lessons, tutorial videos, and exclusive personal finance content. So let's go over to Stock-Trak, and I'll show you what goes into creating a session. So you'd start off by choosing your subject. Then you choose your academic level. You would choose a session name and description. And you could choose your start date and end date. So is it going from January till March? How many students you have, and what your time zone is. Next, you'd really start getting into some of the customizable options. So we have a widget that's designed to help users build a portfolio. We have a forum that you can enable, which is essentially where students can post their different investment theses and comment on them. So that adds even more participation and engagement among the students. You can even display certificates. So your students could get an Investing 101 Stock-Trak certificate at the end of the term, which they can keep. Then we have the budget game. So this is typically used in personal finance classes. The budget game teaches students the basics of personal finance. So how do I create a budget? How do I stick to my budget? How do I build an emergency fund? How do I use my credit card properly and build my credit score? How do I make smart financial decisions on a daily basis? So it's going to teach students all of those. And what you can do as a professor is you can choose, how much money the students are making as an hourly wage, how much money they're starting with, what your state income tax percentage is. And you can even go so far as to choose all their monthly expenses. So some professors are busy and they just want to use our default settings, so it expedites the process. but some like to be a little bit more meticulous and actually go in and put the realistic wages in their current area or state. And same thing for the expenses. And then the last option here is the life event emphasis. So every few days in the budget game, which you'll see later, a life event is going to happen that you're going to need to pay for. And so you can have those events be more focused on investments, on household expenses, on taxes, or if you don't select anything, it will just give you a random blend of them all. Then we'll configure the portfolio settings. So you can choose your portfolio currency, your initial cash balance. So if you're in an investments class, maybe you're going to start off with 100,000 or a million. If you're teaching personal finance, then maybe you'd only start with 10,000. You could enable a minimum stock price for buying or shorting, which would limit anything trading under $3 a share or $5 a share. Students wouldn't have access to that. You can change the interest earned on their cash and charged on their margin loan. For investments class, you can display the Sharpe ratio rankings, the trainer rankings, and the Jensen's alpha rankings, which will actually re-rank everyone based on those metrics. Then you can allow trading on margin. Do I want short selling? Do I want day trading? Yes or no? Do I want to make everyone's portfolios public or private? So public means the students would be able to see each other's trades. Do I want my professor account to appear in the rankings alongside the student? So some professors like to have their professor account as the benchmark. Do I want to require my students to make trade notes? Do I want to limit the number of trades they can make per day? Do I want to enable fractional shares? Yes or no? Next, you go through and select your security types. So here you can see I have equities, stocks, and ETFs. You would choose the commission per trade. Is it going to be $10 a share, $5 a share, commission free? Then you choose the position limit percentage, which is the maximum amount a student can invest into a single company. So at 25%, they would have to have at least 4 different positions in their portfolios. And then you would choose the diversification percentage, which is the maximum amount a student can invest into the entire asset class of equities themselves. So at 200%, that means I can be fully margined all in equities. Whereas if you wanted to force them to diversify, you could set this to 75%. And then once they've used 75% of their initial cash balance in equities, it would limit them and they would have to invest in another security type. And you would choose your exchanges. So you can see on Stock-Trak, we have international exchanges and US markets. So you could go through and select all of them, or you can just go one by one and select the ones that you want. These are other security types, and you go through the same process setting these 3 different metrics. So crypto, mutual funds, bonds, options, futures, future options, Forex, and cash spot. So you can see we have a lot more security types on Stock-Trak. And the last step here would be to configure your lesson plan. So as I mentioned, there's over 300 different lessons here. They're divided by subject. So if you're teaching an investments class, you'd probably want to use our stock lessons and our investing 101 course, maybe some economic lessons. If you're teaching personal finance, maybe you'd want to come through here and select all of our personal finance lessons, which would most likely align with whichever textbook you're using, touching on all the same subjects. And so you could select all of them, or you can select just the ones that interest you. And you can also select whether or not the students will have one shot at the pop quizzes, or if they can keep retrying them until they've gotten them all right. Typically, professors will take 30 to 60 minutes before their term is set to begin, and they'll build out their lesson plan. So you just need to choose a name for it, a start date and an end date, and then select the lessons that you'd like to use. Next, we'll talk about grading and reporting. So HowTheMarketWorks only tracks task completion without actually storing any grades. So it's binary. It's 0% is the student hasn't done it yet. 100% is the student has done it. It's been completed, and that's it. Stock-Trak offers great storage and detailed reports that are accessible to both students and professors. So let's go ahead and take a look at this on Stock-Trak. Go to the assignment student progress report. You would choose your assignment. You could see I'm in a financial literacy session. So I have budgeting, saving, credit, and debt. In my budgeting assignment, I can go through and see all of my students here, how far along they've completed this specific lesson and assignment, how much time it's taken them, when their last login was, and what their average grade percentage is. And if I open this, I can actually see for each individual lesson what their grade percentages are. LMS integration. So this is an important point. So for schools with site licenses, Stock-Trak offers seamless LMS integration with platforms like Canvas and Blackboard, making it easier and more efficient for professors to manage their courses. This addresses one of the most significant struggles for professors, which is getting students easily registered and keeping their information all in one place. This is a brand new function as well. We just started doing this for our site license clients. As you can see, there's an example here with Schoology Learning, and you can see the Stock-Trak tab right down there. Next, we'll talk about rankings and data accessibility. So HowTheMarketWorks has limited data insights and does not provide an option to export rankings or reports. This is HowTheMarketWorks, as you can see here, the rankings page for the investing portfolio portion. We have the student's username, their current value of their portfolio, and their gain and loss percentages right here. Stock-Trak provides comprehensive and exportable rankings and data with access to 9 different report types. So you can create custom reports and spreadsheets tailored to your needs. Additionally, dynamic dashboards enhance analysis and monitoring, offering a more in-depth understanding of performance. So let's go ahead and take a look at the rankings on Stock-Trak. First, we have just the general portfolio rankings page, which both the students and professors can view. Again, if you click here, you'll be able to see the details of each student's portfolio, and you can even re-rank them based on the Sharpe ratio, the 2 other rankings here. If we go to the ranking report, this is an alternate view of the same thing. On this page, you can see everyone's portfolio value, percent return, Sharpe ratio, alpha, beta, and number of trades. The registration file, you'll be able to see all your students registering, which will show their username, their email, their name, the account create date, and you also have the ability to make certain students TAs. So if you're working with a TA and they're going to help you with your session, you can actually set them as a TA, and they'll be able to go in and view the reports with you to help you. You can also create custom reports with any of the data that's available on Stock-Trak, such as user information, current user activity, open positions, trading data, and more. And you can create a custom spreadsheet based on any of the information that's here. And we also have an activity report showing how active everyone's being in the past 30 days, how diversified everyone is in their portfolios in terms of security types. And you can also do a full session portfolio export at the end of your term. Enhanced user experience. So HowTheMarketWorks dashboards are static. Stock-Trak offers a cleaner, easier to use interface. Students can navigate and complete tasks faster and more efficiently. The mobile experience on Stock-Trak is vastly superior to HowTheMarketWorks, with full feature parity between desktop and mobile platforms. Again, that is the HowTheMarketWorks dashboard. Now, if we go to my student dashboard on Stock-Trak, this is what it would look like for the students here. So at the top of the page, we have their assignments. They can click here and start to do their different assignment tasks. that, they have the budget game, which they can click and play. Beneath that, they have their trading portfolio and some of their open positions listed here. They can toggle between their security types. Then they can build a watch list. And at the bottom of the page, they'll have an overall market summary with the top gainers and top losers of the day. Exclusive features on Stock-Trak. So Stock-Trak grants access to advanced tools in markets such as options, futures, future options, cash spots, forex, crypto, and international exchanges. The trading pit on Stock-Trak provides a significantly better experience, especially for mobile users. The budget game, a highly engaging game for personal finance classes, is only on Stock-Trak. You can't find it on How the Market Works. So let's go ahead and take a look at the trading pit on Stock-Trak. Just type in the SPY as an example. So this is what our trading pit looks like. As you can see, we want it to look like a professional brokerage account. We have trading view that is embedded right in the page and a small quote at the top, and then 4 very straightforward action buttons. Do I want to buy? Do I want to sell? Do I want to short? Do I want to cover? I'm going to do 1 share for this example. I would choose my order type. Is it going to be a market order, a limit order, a stop, or a trailing stop? And then my duration is good for day. I'll click review order. And you can see here in this session, I actually have trade notes enabled. So that means if I go to place an order, it won't let me execute the order unless I write a trading note. Now, this is a toggleable feature, so you can turn it off or on. In this case, it's on. So your students write, hey, I'm buying this because, and then they provide their reasoning why they think this is a good investing decision. And then they'd be able to execute their order. Next, we can go over to the budget game. So again, this would be used in a financial literacy or personal finance session or class. The game is played on a calendar month. You go through 18 virtual months of a simulated life. It's kind of like the game of life, if you ever played that board game. On the top of the screen, the top ribbon, we have some of the metrics that the students are being scored on. So your credit score will go up or down based on how you're using your credit card and if you're paying your bills off every month. Then you have your quality of life, which you want to increase steadily throughout the game by making good decisions. You have your outstanding bills, which need to be paid off in full by the bill's due dates, which you can see little dancing icons down here are the actual bill due dates. Then you have your savings balance, which you want to increase steadily throughout the game and build an emergency fund, your checking balance, and your credit card. You have your savings goal here at the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. So on the first of every month, a screen will actually pop up that will have the students tally up all their projected income, all their projected expenses for the month. And then there'll be a surplus. They'll have to calculate the surplus. And with that surplus, they'll have to set a savings goal. Now, one of the biggest ways to gain a whole bunch of game points is to hit that savings goal by the end of the month. Then on the last day of the month, on the 30th or the 31st, a feedback window will actually pop up and it will kind of nudge the students of how they could do better next month. So it'll tell them, hey, you did really great with your credit score, but you didn't save enough. And so they have that in mind moving forward. So let's go ahead and roll the die and start moving through here. Investing in bonds. If you're looking for a low risk way to invest in your money, you might be interested in bonds. So I'm going to start the lesson. Each month has about 2 mini lessons as we want to keep the game educational. This one is about investing in bonds. And so I roll the die and I start moving through the month. You're shopping for some outfits. Do you buy the name brand or the no name brand to save your money? So let's see. This is a choice here, quality of life choice. Do I want the name brand or the no name? So I don't really mind. I'll go for the no name brand, and I'm going to use my credit card to pay for that. Your car is starting to get a bit dirty inside. Do you take it to a car cleaner or pay for the vacuum? So I'm going to go ahead and take care of my car and use my credit card. And that just earned me some quality of life points there. My parents have come to visit me for the weekend. I bring them out to dinner. So again, this is quality of life as well. So I'm going to go ahead and use my credit card to pay for the dinner. And now I'm at the portion of the game where I'm a full-time employee. So I'm getting paid a salary. I'm getting paid every 2 weeks. So you can see my full paycheck breakdown. I've worked 80 hours. I'm making $30 an hour. This is my total. And then we have my net pay here at the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and deposit that. It's my sister Bella's birthday. I send a card and gifts. Okay, so for this, I'll use my credit card. Now, on the weekend, students will have to make one of 4 decisions. They can work extra hours to make additional income. They can socialize for quality of life points. They can take care of their homes, or they can work on their professional development. So I'm going to go ahead and socialize this weekend. I spent a great evening with my friends, but one of my coworkers had to cover for you to meet an important deadline. So you can see your actions actually will have consequences, and no 2 students will have the same game because everyone's going to be making their own subjective choices as they go through it. And the Oboe cards that come up are in randomized order. Here we go. Now, as part of the budget game, they'll also have this summary screen where they'll be able to track their net worth over time, their quality of life over time, and their credit score over time. They'll have a net worth breakdown, and then they'll have access to virtual bank accounts, so their checking account, their credit card, and their savings account. They will also be ranked for this, just like how the stock game is ranked, the budget game is also ranked. So that's where a lot of the engagement comes from, a lot of the participation. Students want to be in the top 5 or the top 3. And so you can see these are some of the metrics they're being scored on: their overall score, their net worth, their credit score, and their quality of life. And lastly, students will actually have their own apartment, which they can furnish, they can decorate, they can buy things for, and customize as just a fun additional feature here. So that is the budget game. So to conclude this presentation, this page compiles a collection of articles and academic reports authored by professors who have integrated Stock-Trak into their classrooms. These publications provide valuable insights into the practical benefits and positive outcomes they experience, such as increased student engagement, improved understanding of financial concepts, and enhanced application of theoretical knowledge to real-world scenarios. The reports serve as compelling evidence of Stock-Trak's effectiveness as a teaching tool, highlighting how it enriches the learning experience and contributes to achieving academic and professional goals in financial education. So to sum up, if you're interested in a demo of Stock-Trak, if you're currently using How the Market Works and you'd like to see a demo of Stock-Trak or how it works, or if you have questions, or if you'd like to set up a session for your school for 2025, you can call or text me at 1-438-258-1815. You can email me at cnicholson@stocktrak.com, or you can leave a comment in the chat of this webinar. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks for listening, and happy holidays to everybody.